if you're going to cut men's hair, let me walk you through this full men's haircut packed with real skills you'll actually use. We've got clipper skills, scissor skills, beard work. This is a full session on a real client, and there's going to be lots of gems along the way. Let's get into it. So here's the blank canvas we're working on. Now, right away you can see there's this little M shape which we need to square off and taper in at the back. And I'm going to start with a number 3 on my clipper. That's 9mm. And I'm just going to follow this line, gliding up at the back of the head and just leaving the head. I'm not going to round over where that bump sticks out at the back of the head. That way it's actually almost blending in already. You can see that line, it goes all the way around the head. And the easy way to describe it is that it is where the head sticks out the most. So just run your clipper up and straight off that line. It's really easy to work that way, and it does a lot of the blending in for you. If you want the technical term, the bone at the back is the occipital bone, and the bone at the side is the parietal bone, and we refer to them as ridges. So I'm just going to work up to that ridge and glide off. This is making me a nice canvas that I can work on. So this is the basic part here. When I say basic, the next part isn't that complicated. You can see here, I'm just aiming straight up for the ceiling. Okay, that line, follow that line. It makes it effortless for you. This is going to make your blending in so much easier with the scissors. It takes a lot of the weight away without destroying the shape at the top. Okay, so now this is fun. We're going to make a little arc. Now the reason for the arc is I want to retain some darkness at the side where the hair comes down. Because this hair is, I would say, like a light brown, slightly blonde maybe, it loses definition around the sides. So if I keep it slightly longer to the sides and taper it up in the middle, I'll get some nice bold lines. So here we go, a half. This is just the bare blade with the lever pushed down. It's 1.5mm, and we'll just move that whole line a little bit higher. So retaining that bold line at the side, a picture speaks 1,000 words, and you will see it as it develops. So this is a cool skill. It looks complex, but actually it's not very complicated at all. It's just an arc, and then we kind of fade away from the arc. I'm going to go back a notch. There's a little bit of a dark line. Let's just bring it down slightly with the clipper. So I'm probably in the middle of 0 and 1.5 there, like 0.75. Brush the area down. Okay, now, number 1, we can go a little bit higher. This is 3mm. Again, you're just budging that line up slightly higher. Now, what I've noticed here already, there's a little bit of redness on the neck, and that's nothing to do with the blade. It's possible that that redness is caused just by the irritation of metal on skin. That can happen. So just be aware of that with your client. It does tend to go away towards the end of a haircut. Now, I've stepped back. This is a process of stepping forwards and back. So this is a half guard. Not all clippers have them. If you don't have them, don't worry about it. It can give you an extra level of refinement. Okay, so we did the step back. Now a step forward, slightly bigger guard. It's the 1.5 guard. Okay, not to be confused with the 1.5mm, which is just the bare blade with the lever down. And you can see the line that I'm picking here. Okay, I'm just gliding up off that bone. It's starting to form into something. Okay, but I've still got a little bit of a line there, so a little step back. Number 1, just move the lever down a little bit, and we can start to form this taper a little bit better. I've got to say, probably the bulk of my work now is tapers. I don't do a lot of fades anymore. So up now to the number 2, and that's just going to take out this little dark area here, just a little bit higher up. Now, remember I made that arc. Does it look to you like there was an arc there? It doesn't. It's kind of disappeared because I've started fading the arc out. And we're getting a taper. Now you can do this. This is easy to learn. It's not difficult. We're only 4 minutes into the video here, and we already have something that looks quite nice. The line from the back of the ear is going to frame the work. Now, this is why I made the arc. It's to retain that hair at the side, because we want to create a shape. It makes a much cleaner shape if you have some hair. So remember, that's what it looked like before we tapered it, and now it's starting to look much cleaner. It looks like we've got a really kind of professional looking haircut going on here. Around the ear, I'm just going to make a tiny little notch there. That's as short as it's going to go. And then I'm going to use my comb and just bend the comb out away from the head. So the comb is acting like all those clipper guards did. It's just graduating, or tapering if you want. It's graduating into longer hair by bending it out. Because of the thickness of the comb, I can't quite get down to that short area just around the ear and the beard there. So I'm going to come back with the big clipper for that. But trimmer over comb, that's what this is called. That's what this technique is. I'm trying to get as close as I can, and I think at some point I decide that is not close enough. So I'll do as much as I can with the trimmer. Here we go. Just need the clipper just to take that little line out of there, polish it a little bit. If you've got the tools, use them. If you don't worry. Try and get it as neat as you possibly can. The big clipper can do the trimmer work, but it's just a little bit too bulky. It's not as delicate as the little trimmer, and often not quite as close. So frame up around the face. I am going to come back with the razor on the beard, but I'm just going to foil shave around some of these areas just to make it a little bit cleaner. Now let's get on to the top. So we'll wet it down, and I'm going to start in the crown. I'm going to do scissor over comb. So pick up a section with the scissor, put the comb underneath, and cut. Now I'm cutting away from the crown in a direction that the hair flows. I think that's going to be easier for me. I always go with the flow of the hair. I like to let it sit without any tension. I don't tend to pull that hair at the side with my fingers or at the crown unless it's too long. If it's short enough and you can just pick it up with the scissor and comb, that's fine. How could you tell if it was too long? Well, it would collapse. It wouldn't pick up very effectively this way. You'd probably find that it was bending before it got to the comb. So that's how you know. But at this length, it's absolutely fine. This is the type of shape that we're looking to make here. And all the way around, we want to make that shape. So I'll be working in the same way right here. And this is what you would call the block. Some people call it the block, a block graduation. I don't want to round over the head. Now, when I was working up here with the clipper, I couldn't really go up too high and do the clipper work. And now the hair's so long, you need to cut it with a scissor. You could clipper over comb, but you need something to hold the hair and make it stand up. Okay, so again on this side, work your way around. I suppose we graduated up when we were doing trimmer over comb. This is a graduation down. Okay, on top, this is thick hair, so we can texturize this hair. It'll take texture well. I'm going to separate that area out there. So we've got like a channel right down the middle. And these will be the textured, the chipped into sections. I want to show you a way that you can chip in easily without putting strain on yourself. Chipping into the top of the head can be quite stressful. So what I like to do is bend my fingers forwards, okay, and then point the scissor in so my thumb is underneath and chip across the front of my fingers. This is a much easier way. You can cut straight across, okay? What I'm doing here, it could be cut straight across or it could be chipped into. I like to chip in. I don't like to cut straight across and then chip in because you don't really get true texture that way. All you'll do is thin the hair. I am going to be using thinning scissors in this haircut as well. I'll speak about that. But you can see here, this is a relaxed position, elbow low, and it's much easier to cut that way. Let's have a look. You know, like if I pick the hair up and I cut with my elbow high, I don't want my elbow up there during the haircut. I can't really get a good angle either. So forwards, keep the elbow low, nice and relaxed. I want to say a big shout out to my model as well, Mark, who lent himself for this video. I appreciate it, and look forward to seeing you in the shop again. So if I cut straight across and then I chip in, I've got a straight line with some chipped in areas, but ultimately it's still straight across on the top. So it'll still be basically flat. This is why I like to just chip the whole section. I need to make sure that all the hair is chipped into all the way across, and that gives you the texture on the ends. Thick hair always works for texture. When you have thin hair, or I would say like very curly hair, texture is not your friend. If you texturize curly hair, you can sometimes develop frizz when the hair is dry. Straight, thick hair, great for texture. Also great for a scissor mark as well. So make sure you keep your sections thin. Don't take too much of a section, too big a section if you're on straight hair. This hair is okay, it's forgiven. It's got a slight wave and it's very thick, so we can make it all kind of choppy. And if there was imperfections in the haircut, well, guess what? Because it's heavily textured and it's all choppy, you're not going to see. This scissor, by the way, it's available in the online store. It's my own scissor. It's a 6-inch Japanese steel scissor. Very high quality convex blade. If you're looking for any tools, check out the links in the description of this video. I normally put everything that I use in there. So chipping my way all the way to the front. I'm pulling the front back slightly, but that's set the front up for being cut at the end of the scissor cutting part. Now look at this area here. I have all this weight and it's all coming from higher up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take those layers back a little bit. Okay, so I don't know if the graphic explained that well, but the first layer, let's bring it back a little bit to try and take some weight away from that bottom line. Okay, because all that hair is reaching down to the line there. Get closer to the front, take some weight away from there. This is going to make it easier for the client to style, and it's not going to look like there is a bulge of hair just sitting there. I'll just make sure now, even though I did work this area, sometimes when you cut the top, suddenly you get this corner because you've made it disproportionate from the sides and the top. So this is like blending in work, blending hair in with scissors. A lot of people find the blending in is the hardest part. Okay, so just exactly the same on the other side. Again, the block graduation, let's readdress that. It's just the process of some further layering. Scissor over comb. And at the front, because we've got the length down nicely, I'm just going to pull the hair down on the comb. I'm not going to stretch it down on my fingers because there is a slight wave there and it might ping off in a different direction when I release it. So I'm just going to use my comb as a ruler and straighten it up. This is very thin at the front here, so that's okay. I find using my comb is a good way to get uniformity in the fringe without making it too blunt. So these are thinning scissors, and because the hair is so thick, I can thin the hair. One of the things about thinning scissors or texturizing shears is you don't want to go too close to the root. I'm just thinning the ends of the hair. I would maybe thin like perhaps the end third of the hair. If you go too close, what will happen is those little short hairs will stand on end and will push the rest of the hair up. They're not long enough to lay flat, so you end up getting root lift. Right, texturizing spray from Hairbond. I love this stuff. It's probably my favorite texturizing spray. I'll leave a link for that below as well. Give it a good dry off and we've got this to deal with, and my little trade secret that I'm going to give you if you ever post photos of your haircuts. I want to show you a little trick. So this is the shape I'm thinking about here. I'm going to go for something along these lines here. With the beard, it's such an artistic thing. You can decide what shape you want to put into the beard, and you can really reshape a man's face. So this is the shape. I could have gone a tighter angle on the jawline, but I've dropped it down a little bit at the corner of the jaw to make it a little bit squarer. That's up to you. Tell me what you would do. Would you go higher there, or would you prefer it squarer? This hair here, I'm going to push it onto the neck and trim away everything that's sticking out on the neck. Okay, and that's going to keep it tidier for longer. We're not going to get flyaway hair there. And then push against that line with the little trimmer at the bottom here. I'm just going to freehand this shape. Okay, freehand that in. And then trimmer over comb. Just all I want, because I quite like the shape and the density of the beard, I'm just looking for stragglers. Now, underneath the chin here, freehand, be very careful. I'm going to make my line there. And I don't know about you, but I feel like I'm missing a hair here at the bottom. Can you see it? I see it on the video. Why did I not get that? Just get it. Surely. Oh, thank goodness. Oh my goodness. When I was watching this back, I thought I hadn't got it. I did get it, thank goodness. You don't want to miss that. It just completes the shape. Okay, so I'm using the foil shaver here rather than the razor because when we did the hair around the back of the neck, remember I had that redness? So I don't want to scrape the razor. I don't want to drag the razor over the skin too much. And actually the foil shaver is probably more hygienic anyway and safer if you're not confident with the open razor. I am going to work with the open razor in this beard, but we'll get to that. So pick that line again on the other side. This is quite a satisfying bit for me. I don't know about you. Like, I always like to kind of aim for the line between the neck and the chin, just where the two meet. And you can decide how much hair you want to leave coming down to that line. But for me, it just transforms the beard really, really quickly. The mustache, I'm going to show you a little trick with a mustache as well, because you don't want to obliterate. It's not a dense mustache. Pull the comb down to the upper lip and then just cut across the comb, and then take anything that's on the lip line away. If you go above the lip line, which you can, you know, I mean, it's really artistic. It's up to you. To me, it doesn't look right. I like to have the hair reach the lip. Now, it looks quite still a little bit straggly around the beard. So I'm going to go, first of all, just scissor over comb, because I can pick up a big line all the way through the beard and trim right across the line. And then freehand with the clipper. Be very careful. All we want to do is just glide over any hair that's sticking out, any little hair, without touching the beard, okay? So this is just going to clean the finished look and take away anything that's sticking out. On the mustache, flip the lever to the half position, turn the clipper over, and you can draw down the mustache. That'll take density without removing it. So open razor, these are some razor blades that Faded Culture kindly sent me, and a little bit of shaving gel. I like to use clear gel because I can see where I'm going with the blade. Now, pull the cheek up, and I'm just going to take the blade down to the area of most density. And I'm not going to go inside that. I don't want to sharpen up or remove too much of the beard shape. Not everybody likes a line up. I don't. I prefer to keep it natural on the face, but it's a request. I would say it's about 50-50. Some people like it lined up, some people don't. Now, don't forget, there's a big secret coming for you here. Now, this is what we had before. This is what we're finished with. So we've got the beard, the texture on top, Mark's looking cool, and ready for a photo, I would say, or a thumbnail. Now, let me show you a little trick that you can use if you're a barber and you want to photograph your haircut. Check this. High-tech green screen, okay? They spent a lot of money on this green screen, and what we can do is take it to Photoshop, and because we have that bold green color, it's much easier for Photoshop to figure out where the hair is, because you have a bold color behind it, and it removes the background really easily. So we'll make Mark a little bit bigger, and all we need to do is add some words. So let me tell you, you are amazing. Thank you for watching.